Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, what the former DPM has to say about a bid to begin oil drilling in the Bahamas. No details spared as Atlantis preps for reopening day tomorrow. And why a former Court of Appeal president says the Prime Minister doesn't deserve credit. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, environmental groups Waterkeeper Bahamas Limited and Coalition to Protect Clifton Bay yesterday filed legal action intended to stop Bahamas Petroleum Company from proceeding with its exploratory offshore oil drilling exercise set for later this month. Jared Higgs sought to get the former Deputy Prime Minister's comments on it.
I would leave that to the government to comment on.
Former Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest staying tight-lipped on oil drilling as a group files an injunction to stop a well being drilled off the coast of Andros. The groups that filed the injunction are seeking leave to bring judicial review proceedings against the government, claiming that the decisions to approve the authorization for drilling were procedurally unfair, irrational, and abuse of power, and therefore unlawful. Environment Minister Romal Ferreira is named as the first respondent. Director of Environmental Protection and Planning Rochelle Newbold is named as the second respondent, and the Attorney General is listed as the third respondent. In addition, the applicants seek to challenge 3 decisions by the Governor General in April, August, and November 2020 to renew or extend the validity of the licenses of BPC/Bahamas Offshore Petroleum Limited.
The topic of oil drilling has become a hot-button issue in the Bahamas, with many people saying they're against it. Now, former Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest wouldn't say whether or not he supports it when asked about it by reporters today.
You're in a great position now to comment because you're not a minister anymore.
At the appropriate time, I will give my views on that. However, I would again leave it to the cabinet to make a comment on that.
Last week, former Cabinet Minister Brent Simonet told reporters he doesn't support oil drilling, saying it wouldn't be worth it to risk ruining the country's pristine environment. Despite no longer being in cabinet, though, Turnquest wouldn't say whether he supports drilling.
I have not polled my constituents on it, so I can't really give a position.
Meanwhile, the injunction applicants also seek to challenge several decisions, including 3 approvals, 1 issued in February and 2 in November of this year. Those approvals dealt with environmental authorizations granted to BCC and changes made to the project. Waterkeeper and the Coalition say BCC cannot legally drill on December 15th, even though its drill ship, Stena IceMax, is en route to the Bahamas. They say that's because BCC needs to obtain an excavation permit required under the Conservation and Protection of the Physical Landscape of the Bahamas Act and site plan approval under the Planning and Subdivision Act. BPC, whose CEO is Simon Potter, has vowed through its lawyers to vigorously oppose any application for an injunction and leave to apply for judicial review, whether it is joined as a respondent or an interested party. Reporting for Our News, I am Jared Higgs.
Thanks, Jared. Well, after being closed for 9 months, Atlantis Paradise Island is set to welcome its first set of guests tomorrow, bringing 3,000 employees back to work. On property today, those employees were in the final stages of preparation at the Royal Towers. Kyle Joaquin takes us for a behind-the-scenes look.
Not a lot of movement here at Atlantis Paradise Island right now, but employees are coming back to work, all in preparation for the big reopening day tomorrow. When the first guests walk through the doors of the Royal Towers tomorrow, they will be greeted by the warm smiles of Atlantis execs and employees who have been eager to welcome them back to the resort.
But the team members are all on board. They're excited. They're very enthused, and we're ready to go. And we want to get back into business. We've been out of operations for the last 8-9 months, and we're ready to get back into business and take care and welcome all our guests back.
Throughout the resort, deep cleaning and sanitizing has been the order of the day, from the rooms to the restaurants. Atlantis VP of Hotel Operations Russell Miller says employees undergo COVID-19 testing on a weekly basis, as guests will stay on the property within a bubble system.
We've developed what we call our playbook, which goes through every single department in the resort and speaks specifically to their protocols, their sanitation procedures, cleaning and processing, and just gearing up and getting ready for this day which we're so, again, thrilled and excited to be at this point right now.
For check-in, guests will have to produce their travel health visa, which includes evidence that they have tested negative for COVID-19 within the past 5 days.
In the bubble, they will not have to have any additional tests. So if they're here beyond 5 days, they do not require to have the 5th-day test. They can enjoy the facilities, all of the amenities we have in place, and just have a great vacation.
The holiday cheer is certainly felt across the property as workers put up Christmas decorations, which include this giant Christmas tree in the center of the royal lobby. Miller says while he knows there will be a slow start, the resort is looking for a strong rebound to the end of the year.
We're optimistic. It's, as I say, it's going to start out slow, but then we gradually build up. So by Christmas, New Year, we think we'll be at a good level of occupancies, and we're hoping for the first quarter to take off and be also successful for us.
Now, even here in Marina Village, preparation is underway. As you can see, vendors are getting unpacked just behind me, all in preparation again for the big reopening date tomorrow. But for now, reporting from Atlantis, Paradise Island, for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. Meanwhile, the holidays took a heartbreaking turn for a father whose son was shot and killed on Nassau Village last night. He tells Our News this is the second son he has lost. Bethany McDermott has the story.
It's rough.
Vincent Knowles Sr. is still struggling to come to grips with the murder of his son, 26-year-old Vincent Jr., who was shot to death last night. According to police press liaison officer Audley Peters, the incident happened around 8:30 Wednesday night on Forbes Street and Lawson Avenue.
A small vehicle was combing the area, and it stopped on the intersection of Lawson Street and Forbes Street and Lawson Avenue, rather. A male exited the vehicle, armed with a firearm, and discharged it in the direction of the victim, hitting him. Thereby, he succumbed to his injuries.
This is the third homicide in 5 days. However, police do not believe any of those incidents are related. Now, throughout the day before his son was brutally murdered, Knowles says he had a feeling that something bad was gonna happen. He recalled what it was like getting the news that his only son's life was tragically cut short.
I had to pause for a while. I had to sit down on the bed and pause for a while because my heart started to flutter. It ain't no feeling like when you lost a child, because I already lost a child before.
The grieving father of 7 said he's trying to be strong for his 5 daughters.
I have to be, because then they all I live with now, all.
Knowles described his son as a quiet person who stayed to himself. Following his son's death, he said his life will never be the same. He offered this advice to anyone who may find themselves in a similar situation.
Only the strong in this world can survive. So I would advise everyone who's going through this now, turn to Christ.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
In his first public remarks since the Prime Minister announced he would become the Minister of State for Finance, Senator Kwesi Thompson confirming government will extend portions of the Special Recovery Zone Relief Order following consultation with stakeholders and the Chamber of Commerce. Giorgio Bain has that.
While stressing that the government's finances are under tremendous strain, Minister of State for Finance Kwesi Thompson confirming that the government will extend portions of the Special Recovery Zone Relief Order. The order was enacted December 4, 2019 and created 6 main tax benefits for individuals and businesses disadvantaged by Hurricane Dorian on Abaco and Grand Bahama. Thompson says the government recognizes that residents on those islands are still dealing with the effects of Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic.
So we recognize the need for concessionary fuel pricing while the work to rebuild the power grid continues. For that reason, the local sale of fuel will continue to be tax-free, given the ongoing need to run portable generators as electricity restoration continues in some communities.
Thompson said the government also recognizes that building efforts are still ongoing, resulting in the extension of household tax relief.
The local sale and importation of household furnitures, furnishings, and appliances will continue to be tax-free.
Despite the government's revenue being cut by 50%, the extension will also include residential property sales.
We recognize that many ordinary Bahamians are still looking to buy and sell properties for regular residential development. For that reason, we are extending the opportunity to receive a discount on the VAT payable on the sale of real property for transactions valued to up to $500,000.
Government will honor the current tax concession of replacement vehicles once they were ordered before December 31st and arrive before April 2021. However, come December 31st, 2020, the relief expires on
the relief provisions for business license and real property taxes and from VAT and import taxes on consumables, clothing, equipment, and other replacement items other than those referred to above will be discontinued December 31st as per the current order and the originally agreed schedule.
Thompson added that as Minister of State, he will ensure that no one is left behind. Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio. Well, it's a nice, cool evening outside our studios. Greg Thompson tells us more from the weather studio.
Thanks, Christina. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather. Beautiful conditions setting up on the outdoors. Temperatures now into the mid-60s. 66 is our current temperature, but just a few clouds outside. We'll call it cool. Your winds are out of the north-northwest at 6 knots. Feels like temperature at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Satellite view around the area, that high pressure remains in charge. We have that frontal boundary just across the extreme southeast Bahamas, Hispaniola, and eastern Cuba. But that high will continue to provide very pleasant conditions tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Thanks, Greg. Still to come on our News, Exuma fish fry vendors say they need help. We'll tell you why. And what the former DPM has to say about the F&M's chances in the next election. That's coming up when our News returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chill. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
The Prime Minister's recent announcement that he would be loosening COVID-19 restrictions for the holidays is not impressing former Court of Appeal President Dame Joan Sawyer, who insists Minnis does not deserve credit. Jasmine Brown reports.
People giving credit where no credit is due, and taking credit from credit where credit is due.
The former Court of Appeal president has not been shy about criticizing the state of emergency and the COVID-19 restrictions over the past 8 months. While she was a guest on Guardian Radio's Hit Back with Nahaja Black, she again slammed some of those COVID-19 protocols and insisted there is no way anyone should give the Prime Minister praise for loosening restrictions. Ahead of the holidays, Minnis announced extra shopping days for retailers, social gatherings with a maximum of 10 people, and special worship services during curfew hours. But Dame Joan says as far as she is concerned, there should never have been restrictions on churches in the first place.
To say that you will open up the church for Christmas tells me that you seem to think you have some powers the rest of us are unaware of.
While some have called the Prime Minister's announcement a gift, the former Court of Appeal president says she is simply not impressed.
Now that you're saying that the Prime Minister or the competent authority is a benevolent dictator, and he's able to change times and seasons created by God through his church over the centuries, then obviously there's no gift.
In his national address on Sunday, Minnis insisted it is the beginning of the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. Minnis also announced retailers will be allowed to open on Sunday, December 13th and 21st. But Dame Joan says it may be a little too late, as she believes the COVID-19 restrictions over the last 8 months have already strangled the economy.
Destroy the economic base of the country. I'm not saying that I'm a fan of all economic base. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying a fact. The economic base has been destroyed. How are you going to build it back? And how long will it take you? It's easier to knock down a building than to build one. It took years to build what you had. You think you can get it back in a week? So these people who've been out of work since whenever, what are they going shopping with between now and Christmas?
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, the latest emergency powers eased restrictions on many islands with reported COVID-19 cases, but with one exception. Some business owners on Exuma say their businesses are still barred from opening, and they don't know why.
Look around. Show the cameras around so they can see how desolate around here is. A tourism hub. A tourism hub. And y'all got us desolate. We got people coming from America, this place and that place, and they ain't got to do this and they ain't got to do that. And here it is, we can't even open. Right.
The Exuma fish fry is a ghost town. Stalls and restaurants shut down and shuttered up since emergency orders were issued. But with the country reopening to tourists and domestic travel, fish fry business owners say it seems discriminatory that fish fries on all other islands are permitted to reopen except Exuma.
Why is it seems that there is a personal agenda against the local fish fry?
According to Part 5, Section 56 of the latest emergency orders, specific measures are outlined for Eleuthera and Exuma. On Eleuthera, restaurants are permitted to open for indoor and outdoor dining. Restaurants on Exuma are also permitted to operate for outdoor dining. However, the restrictions also specifically state that no fish fry located in Exuma shall be permitted to operate. Fish fry business owners say there is only so much they can take.
Most of us have outstanding bill from March with our utility providers, whereas we don't have no source of income in paying the bill. So we need some form of option where we can be in operation.
Since y'all will close this down, y'all send us some help. Send us some aid, so we can pay PBL, so we can pay waterworks, and so we can help feed our families. You understand? Because we can't do it without working. What you want to do? Pick up the guns and pick up the arms?
With dozens of families depending on an income that has been put on hold, business owners say they should be able to open until 6 p.m. like other restaurants on the island. And former Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says despite the challenges facing the government, the Free National Movement is still in a good position to win the next general election. His comments come as Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine suggested that many F&Ms would be one and done.
My party's chances of winning the next election, I think, is good. No administration goes without some challenges. But if you weigh it in the balance, I think that we've done some good work over the last 3 years. And we'll see what happens when the time comes.
Turnquest resigned as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance in November amid fraud allegations involving two companies. However, he remains the MP for East Grand Bahama.
What about you in your future? You're running again, and
we'll see what happens.
A look at the markets is next in the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Market Minute.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, the experts for all your business needs. This has been your Financial Market Minute. Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, giving you trusted solutions that work for you and your business. Contact us today.
Bullseye, a young archer aims for the Olympics. That and more when our news returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chair. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.bs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Pastors say the move to allow watch night service during the holiday season was a wise one by the government. While many churches are preparing for in-person services, Bahamas Harvest pastor Mario Moxie says they'll continue with their virtual model.
We're not expected to relaunch worship experiences until January 3rd, 2021. So on New Year's Eve, we made the decision to stream online. It's only because in times past, we've had really a large number of persons that turn out. And we don't suspect that we'd probably be able to manage the crowds that are coming in on New Year's Eve. And it's because a lot of people just simply want to be in church.
Life Changers Ministries senior pastor Dr. Valentino Williams says it's important to end this challenging year on a positive note.
This year has been a very challenging year for so many people. Of course, we're not having Junkanoo this year. The carnival is not coming this year. And so people need somewhere to go. And in particular, Bahamians, they love watch night. Watch night is a very important time for the church because it gives us a chance to reflect on the previous year and, of course, to chart the way forward for the new year. So it's very, very important that we were able to have this service.
Tonight in sports, a young archer working toward his dream of becoming an Olympic athlete. Marcellus Hall has his story.
All right, thanks, Christina. Well, here's a story for you. A young man who was hoping that his skills as an archer will one day lead to Olympic glory. Let's take a look. The name is Stephen Albury, and it's a name you may well want to remember, because if all goes well, he fully intends to be a member of the next Bahamas Olympic team. Albury, who competes as an archer, has been involved with the sport since he was 4 years old. He says it's all about putting in the time to be successful.
All of this is a lot of hard work. Get out here, practice. I come out here at like 6 o'clock, shoot every day, practice, work hard. I'm hoping to go to the World Championships, like I said before, to qualify and represent my country.
Aubrey says motivation isn't easy to come by, but he finds a way to stay focused, sometimes with the help of his dad.
It takes a lot of mental determination to come out, practice, but I see the end goal and that's what I have to focus on. I would say my dad. Although if I don't want to come out and shoot, he drags me out here, makes me shoot, and that's what happens.
Aubrey will compete in a number of qualifying tournaments early next year. On to the NFL, where Tuesday Night Football took center stage with a matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys. Ravens celebrating the return of quarterback Lamar Jackson from COVID-19 with a beatdown of the struggling Cowboys, 34-17. Jackson rushing for 94 yards, including this touchdown. He would throw for 2 more, including a 20-yarder in the third quarter to Marquise Brown. The win for the Ravens, snapping a 3-game losing streak. Cowboys now fall to 9-3. All right, so we will follow Stephen's story as it continues. We'll also give you updates on further Olympic athlete hopefuls as they get closer to Tokyo in 2021. That's your check on sports. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. We're halfway through the week. The extended weather forecast is coming up when our news returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chair. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.bs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
This is our news. Welcome back. I see temperatures are starting to creep up again. Here's Greg back in the weather studio. Greg?
Thanks again, Christina. Our second look at weather is being brought to you tonight by Lactogen 3. It's not a breast milk substitute. From 1 year onward, distributed by Lightburn Trading Limited. Around the area, very nice conditions. That high pressure remains in charge. A frontal boundary that exited the area is now across Hispaniola and eastern Cuba. But that high is going to continue to provide some very nice weather over the next couple of days before we do see another frontal boundary by the weekend. Your boating forecast for all areas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Low tide will be at 9:05 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Now we'll look at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everyone. Christina?
Thanks, Greg. And Bahamas Waste is helping to spread the word about COVID safety with its bold messages on its fleet, encouraging Bahamians to wear masks to stop the spread and save lives. Managing Director Francisco de Cardenas says the economy has slowly reopened and the company wants to do its part to help it to stay open.
We want everybody to just please follow the guidelines that are being put on us and wear a mask and let's stop the spread, let's save lives.
Finance Minister Peter Turnquest applauds the company for promoting safety measures.
We want to make sure that, as I said, every citizen understands that they have an obligation to one another and that they can make a difference.
Thanks for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.